We acknowledge this land that we meet on today is the traditional land for the Kaurna people and that we respect their spiritual relationship with their country. We also acknowledge the Kaurna people as the custodians of the Adelaide region and that their cultural heritage beliefs are still as important to the Kaurna people living today. We also pay respects to the Cultural Authority of Aboriginal people visiting, attending from other areas of South Australia and Australia present here. Okay, one very quick handy tip for those that aren't fortunate enough to be working with two screens in this session. You can press the Windows key and the arrow to split your screen so that you can see what I'm doing on one screen and follow along on another. This is a very interactive session, so it'd be really good if you could also follow along with me so that you can learn as well. Okay, so today we're working on Microsoft Sway. Now, Microsoft Sway is a web-based app only. There are a number of different ways that you can access Microsoft Sway. The first one is, well, the main one is actually through your Microsoft 365 portal, which you can get to either via EdPath or by logging on to Microsoft365.com. You will be then prompted to put in your EdPath details. So it's just as easy to go through your Microsoft 365 portal from EdPath. If we click onto that, then we're taken to our Microsoft 365 page. And in the left-hand column, we've got our apps button. Click on all apps, and then it shows all the apps you have available. They're all in alphabetical order. And then we can click on to Sway and get the lovely welcome to Sway. What I will show you is some example sways that we do have available, so you can have a look at what you can actually do within a Sway presentation. So what I've got here, this is a PD presentation that's been put together. As you can see, this one is scrolling along the side rather than up and down, with some pictures and text. And here they've embedded a YouTube clip as well. So that's an example of a PD presentation that you can put together. We encourage students to also use Sway. This one here is been put together by a student looking at their planning, organisation, goal setting, etc. So you can do this with your students and getting them to plan out what their year will look like, what their goals are, etc. And here you can see there's a table that's been embedded into the Sway. Another table here. Got the background they've put in. Pictures through there. What this is also used a lot with in schools are newsletters. Example of a newsletter here that you can share out with your community. Through here, again, we've got a table that's been put in, lots of pictures down through the sides, information, and this one here has a form that's been embedded into the space. So the school had a Grandparents' Day and we're looking for information, so they've got that through there as well. Okay, so what I'd love you all to do is to open up Sway, and we'll start with creating our very first Sway. If you don't have access to a microphone, I will be monitoring the chat as well, so by all means ask any questions that you do have there. So there are a number of different ways that you can start a Sway. We can either start from a topic, from a document you've already got, if you've got templates, etc. Have a play with all of those later. We're just going to start from a blank Sway today. We're just going to hit on this Create New button. And straight away, this just takes us into a pretty blank looking Title Your Sway. So for this one, I'm just going to click into that heading box and I'm going to call it My First Sway. Now from here, we can add backgrounds, we can add logos, lots of different things that we can put in there. So in that background picture, you can upload from your device. So if you have a picture that you've already got, or if it's something that you're just playing with, you can actually just search on the internet through here for a picture. Put the word school in there. Drag a picture of the school across to the back. And then just dragging and dropping that in, and that pops that picture in there. What we can then do at any time is we can go from using either the storyline or to the design. And the design will show us straight away what it will actually look like. So this is the beginning of the sway that we've created. You can see that's quite a big picture that's in there. I can choose to put focus points on that picture, or if I decide that's actually too big and I don't want it to be that big, I can easily delete that picture just by clicking on that delete button, going back into adding the background. I can see here those sizes there were quite large, so I could try and see school banner size. Again, it's come up, looks very big, but it's a matter of playing with the right pictures and finding one that suits the sway that you want to do. So I'll just put one different again. Now, what I do recommend if you're using this as a newsletter is we do put in we also put in a logo. So down here we have the option to put in a logo. You may not want to keep the logo in there, but there's a really good reason for actually putting in your logo, because that way we can try and get the sway to match into your school colours. So I'm going to go across here, and for a school logo, I'll just try and find one. It's a pretty coloured one here. I'm just going to add that in as a school logo. And if I do my design picture, put my picture of my school, I've got this logo popped into there. We may not actually want to keep that logo there, but we will use it and then we'll delete it out later. We go to styles. This is where you would use that logo to create a color palette. I often recommend that we actually put some more content in before we go and create that style. That way we can have a look and see how that style will actually look like once we've put some more information in. So from here we can press the plus button and we can either add just some text, heading. Here I'm going to add in a new heading. Might just put in here term dates. So now I want to add in a table so that the term dates or the special dates that are happening will show them into this sway. Now within Sway you can't actually create a table per se, so we actually need to do that from a Word document. So my recommendation is that you open up a Word document, a blank Word document. I'll just do one very quickly here and insert a table. And from here, you can put in whatever information it is that you want to share with your community. So we could have table store. day, casual day, whatever it is you want to put into for your information for your community to see. And I'm actually going to change the design so it looks like that. And then we save this anywhere within your computer, doesn't really matter where we save it. I'm just going to save that straight into my documents. Then if I go to my browser where I've actually saved that, I can just drag and drop that. There we go. So now that's popped that table onto there. If I go to the design, I can see that it has actually now added that table. It's also put the words test table in there, but that's just a matter of clicking into here and deleting that. And now I've just got the one that says term dates, and then I've got that table that's popped in there. What we can also do is add a lot of pictures into a Sway as well. So once again, we've got the option here of clicking on the add button, and we've got images. You can also go to the media here and click on image there as well. And in the group area, if you want to add a lot of different pictures, you can choose to do a stack or a slideshow of pictures. At the moment, I'm just going to click on that image button. And in a lot of cases, you'll have pictures that will already be on your device that you'll be uploading, school pictures that you've got that you want to share with your community. But from here, I'm just going to quickly grab some pictures of dogs. I'm grabbing that and dragging and dropping. If you've got a number of different pictures that you want to add, this is when you can go to that stack and add lots of pictures of dogs. If we go to the design, we didn't put this one here in the stack, but this one here has been, and the user then just flicks through those rather than having to have them all showing as one. You can have that as that stack there. I've seen a lot of sites use that with the community notices that you often put at the end of newsletters. Now, as we can see, that picture is quite small. I actually want that to be a bit bigger, and I want to add that one into the stack as well. Just drag and drop that in there. And what we can do here within this stack is we can change the size. At the moment, we've got it as a very small size. So if I change that to be a bigger size, you click on that design button, and that's now made those pictures a lot bigger. In the group type, you also have a lot more options as to how you want those pictures to display. So this is when we can either put them as an automatic, we can do them as a grid, do it as a grid and hit that design. That's then put in there as a grid for us. We can do them as a slideshow or a slideshow with the thumbnail images showing down the bottom. So it depends on how you want those pictures to show. Or we could just click the automatic button and it will just lay them all out in a row. Quite like the grid, so I'm going to leave it. Now, what we also have the option to do in Sway is add additional headings and text, obviously. So through here, we can add a heading and pop in right from here, we can pop into some text. Don't have it pre-prepared, just put in whatever you want to put in that text box, and once again then go to the design area, and you can see that that's where that text has come down there and it's put in that additional heading from the principal. So we've got term dates and from the principal. And you could, if you wanted to add an additional picture, you could put a background picture. If you wanted to actually have a photograph in there, you could do that as well. I'm not going to do that at this point. We also have the options under that media area to be adding a video. So if you want to, you can actually add a YouTube clip, or if you've got an MP4 that you've already got of your school, you can add that in as well. So I'm just going to pop in one that's already there, show you what that looks like. Go to that design area. That's actually embedded it straight into the Sway. And so the users can just hit that play button and then that will actually play directly in the Sway. And once again, with that sizing, if you want that to be bigger, you have the option then to make that bigger for your users to see. The advantage of looking at within a Sway is that the pictures and the videos are all very reactive, dependent on the type of device that we have. So when we're looking at the this, if we were to look at this device on a mobile device, for example, design button, then they would actually show quite nicely on a mobile device. It's one of the advantages of using Sway is that all of those pictures are very reactive to the size of the device that you have. And as I said before, on one of the other ones, we had a form that was embedded as well. So to add a form, we go to our media and we need to go to that embed code and we need to paste the embed code from a form. Go back to our apps and find the forms button. So if you've got a pre-prepared form that you've already created, I'll put this telling time one here in, and we just need to get that embed code from forms, and we can copy that across. Sorry, I've got my little icon at the top there and it won't let me get to my photo. Paste in there our embed code. Now if we go to that design process. Oh, sorry, looks like I've already completed that form. But your form, as you can see, would be embedded into that Sway there. I'm very sorry that I've already created that form and used that form, so it's not showing correctly, but that's where your form would go and your users would be able to actually use that form directly within the Sway. Now that I've moved it on quite fast, does anyone have any questions at all at this point in time? Okay, so go back into the storyline. As I was saying before, you can do create your own style. So now that we've put some information into our Sway, if we go to the design area and click on the styles, this is where we can choose what our Sway can look like, and we can customize it a little bit more. So there are some defaults that you can choose from the styles, or we can customize. Now, if you know your custom colors for your school or site, you can add them into here, but I'm just going to choose the colors from the logo that I've got, and straight away it gives me some examples of some color palettes. So I can start clicking on those ones and then see how it changes my sway. Just changing the colours there. I can choose one that matches the style that I prefer. Can also use the remix button if you just want to choose something at random. You can see that one there. Put the headings across to the left. I think that's what this button wants. That one's got it going across the side, which I'm not keen on. But those are an example of how you can actually change what your sway will look like. I do prefer to have the, if you decide that you liked one that was previous, you can hit that back button and that will take you back to a previous one. And I like that in the vertical. So that's actually something that I quite like. So I can keep that and then keep adding onto my sway. Now, in a lot of cases, you, especially if this is being used as a newsletter, you do want to keep some sort of consistency across. I've just read from what Ray said, is sway compatible with Canva? I'm not 100% certain about that question. I don't know that you can import a sway into a Canva. You can export a sway as a PDF and then possibly insert that. So they are two very different programs to be using. So it depends on which one you want to be using for the presentation that you want to be putting together. So with your sway, you can actually save this as a template. So if you put all your titles in that you want to be using for your presentation or newsletter, and you want to be consistently using that, you can take out all the text, or you can just leave that. For example, look, this is where you put some text. You could decide that you want all of your teachers to be contributing to this newsletter. So you could have headings from each class and just leave it as, please put your information in here, please add some pictures, and then save that as a template. And then we can put down here and just put it template sway. What we will then see is then that will create that as a template for when you want to start from a template. Now, unfortunately, sway can't live in a team, so they do actually live in an individual's OneDrive. So my recommendation is that you start create a number of different sways from that template and then share and collaborate on them. So you could do your term 1 week 1, term 1 week 5, term 2 week 1, and name them all and then share them so that you've got all of them ready to go. So go back into my sway that I was doing here. What we want to be doing is sharing this sway so that others can collaborate on it. So if you've created a template and then you've created from a template and you've created it and you've called it week 1, term 5, term 1, week 5, and we can hit the share button. And what we want to do, if you want for other people to be able to edit this as well, is we can click on that edit button. And then you can choose specific people or groups. So if you know that you have a specific team or group that you want to share that with, you can, or you can just type in people's email addresses. So here for Grace Hopper, for example, I can then invite her, or I can just copy that link and I can share that link in either an email or a Teams chat or however else we communicate with our users, and we can invite them to edit this sway as well. Once you have finished editing your sway and you want to be sharing it with your school community, so anyone with a link can then access this sway. By default, when we do press that share button, it does default to view. So make sure that if you are sharing it out with your school community, it absolutely has that view button only. And then it's anyone with a link And again, you can copy that, get an embed code, get a visual code. So however you want to get this, you can copy that and pop it into an email message, or you can just copy that and post that out to your school community, however you normally share information with your school community. And then they'll also be able to view this way in this format. So they won't see in that background work that you see, they'll just be seeing this area here. Did anyone else have any questions at all around sharing a sway? So once we've got the colours in that we want and we don't want to keep that logo, this is when we can just delete that out. So we actually don't need to have that logo in there. That was just used so that we could actually grab those colours into our colour palette. So now we can go back to that design and that logo has disappeared. So from here we're showing you how to embed a video, a form, and once again that form showing quite small. Everything can be resized to be that small, medium or large. I don't tend to use the large because it can look very large. So I tend to go for just that medium one. If we do put it on that large button, go back there, as you can see it's actually taken up that full page. I do actually prefer just to use that medium on there. So it all falls in line. So it depends on how you want to set your sway up so that it looks visually acceptable for what you want your presentation to look like.